Looks like Jefferson had some problems with the leg in the last game. How's he and how's the physical condition of other guys?
Well, we all are tired. Yeah, he got a big hit early in the game against Burgos, and of course it didn't look good yesterday. And but this is part of the tournament. In or out, 1 or 2 players, you need to keep on fighting, and that's normally when you play many games in many days that you will not finish the tournament complete. We need to do our best, and other players will need to take a bigger role to grab the bronze medal.
And what about the emotional mood in the team? Are you ready for this game?
Well, I hope so. Of course, it's a big disappointment for both teams. It's natural, but it's been a long run, and now we want more time together in this competition. And I think the spirit we have showed all year long in the Champions League, we will get it on the court today. And if we are fresh and enjoy the game, it's possible to win this match.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, coach. What kind of game do you expect from Strasbourg today?
The first one is a very important previous job of mentality for play this game. And the opponent team is very good team, physical team. In defense is real stronger. It's a difficult team.
Zaragoza will play the third place game, 2nd year in a row.
Yeah.
How is important to win today?
Yes, I need to improve the last championship in FIBA, and it's very important for us. You know, it's the same, the 3rd and the 4th place. It's very important. It's very important. It's one step more, and it's improved every year, every season.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck, coach. See you.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Nizhny Novgorod. This is finals day. Of course, we're going to have the 3rd place game first here in the Basketball Champions League between Casademont Zaragoza and SIG Strasbourg. Both Zaragoza there in front of us, and Strasbourg had hoped to make it to the final, but I think both coaches and all the players will have to tip their hats to the opponents, Pinar Karšiača and Hereda San Pablo Burgos, respectively. They were deserving winners in the semifinals, and they will battle it out for the title game. But there is a lot riding on this 3rd place game, which we'll talk about. I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Mark Clark. And Mark, again, from the Basketball Champions League Final 8 there, you can see how all of this has played out. Zaragoza winning against Nizhny, but then falling to Pinar Karšiača, and Strasbourg winning in overtime against Tenerife before losing to Burgos. But again, a lot at stake, prestige, prize money, you name it. These players have every reason to come out today and to give it their all in this 3rd place game.
Jeff, absolutely. People talk a lot when they're like one step removed from these games, and they say, well, is it really worth playing these games, etc. That becomes an academic conversation, because you got 12 guys on both rosters, prize money, as you say, but at the end of the day, this is a Basketball Champions League game. These guys are at the top of their sport, and then there's a pride thing that kicks in that says, hey, we're playing a basketball game here. It's an important stage, and you're going to want to walk away from here with a win. I mean, we often say, last day of major competitions, the winner of this game finishes the game. Yet they would like to have been in the final, but they finished the game on a high. They finished the tournament winning, and then it sets them up for their playoffs at home. They come back next year with the Basketball Champions League. They're the 3rd place team. Yeah, the thing for Zaragoza, obviously, they went through finishing 4th. They're not going to want to be 4th again. And Strasbourg, a little bit of history. Other French teams have been in this game. They've come third. Yeah, everyone wants to be third, not fourth. So it becomes a game that has a meaning of itself. If you spoke about it 2 days' time, you spoke about it 2 days before, they don't want to play this game. They wanted to be in the game that follows this game. But this roster from Strasbourg, yeah, there's some question marks over Brandon Jefferson not playing. But as Leslie Tuovi said, these guys want to win. Bonsi Coulson's had a tough 2 games. He's not going to want to finish on a down. So there's a lot for this roster to prove that SIG Strasbourg are a top 3 team in the Basketball Champions League. They want to come back next year. They want to be a top 2 team. So it's there's a lot resting on it.
Yeah, we don't expect Brandon Jefferson to play today because of the knock that he took on the thigh the other day, and it must have been pretty bad because when it happened, he went out and it was heavily taped. He was able to come back and obviously grit it out. He's a real competitor, but if he's not able to go, he's just not able to go. I mean, it's 48 hours since he played, and I guess for Luis Casimiro that probably is an advantage, but again, it's next man up philosophy, and Tuovi said it best, the coach of Strasbourg. You know what? This is what happens in tournament play. You have injuries, and you have other guys that have to step up. It's nothing new, and that doesn't matter if it's club basketball, national team basketball. You know, these players are used to it. So, again, always better to leave an event on the back of a win than a loss, and of course. The third place team wins 200,000 euros compared to 140,000 euros for the fourth place team. So yeah, a lot at stake. What about this Zaragoza team?
Well, Jeff, I'd like this Zaragoza team all year. I think it's a difficult scenario for Coach Casimiro to come in, you know, show so short. But in someone like Jacob Wiley, how good was he in the semi-final? Just phenomenal. And this roster, like the roster for Strasbourg, we talk about people being in and out and people being perhaps tired. That's why you have the depth on this roster. Nicholas Rusino is just quality. Elias Harris is quality. There's a lot of people out here who can make things happen. And I think it's going to be an interesting scenario about who establishes the tempo for this game, because Strasbourg need to score. They don't win unless they score more than 80. So, yeah, they're going to try and push it. They're going to try and be efficient. But that suits Zaragoza, so I expect this to be an entertaining one, Jeff, where both rosters really go up against each other, trying to make this an exciting end to their Basketball Champions League campaign for this year.
Zaragoza were leading with 4.5 minutes remaining in their semifinal against Pinar Karšiaka, but it was just an incredible combative game. 2 great teams, hungry. Pinar Karšiaka reeled off 8 consecutive points, triggered by a 3-point play by Amat Enbay off of a dunk, and there was no turning back for the team from Izmir, Turkey. So for Casademont Zaragoza, it's all about putting that behind you and coming out and giving your best shot today as you try to win what Lassie Tuovi was saying was the bronze medal. You want to have that top 3 finish. So many great moments really for Strasbourg this season, starting with that incredible season opening win over VF Riga with the Bonsi Coulson offensive rebound, then hitting a three-pointer about 10 seconds later. They started the playoffs with 3 consecutive defeats. It didn't look like they would make it to the final 8, but they rallied with 3 consecutive wins, and then of course they beat one of the great, you'd say, iconic clubs of the Basketball Champions League, Lenovo Tenerife. So their players being introduced here, and I don't know, you know, Jean-Baptiste Mai is going to have a lot on him today. I would imagine, Mark, as the gritty point guard. We're used to seeing him come into games and change the way things are being played. But how about that man right there as well? Chikumba is going to have a bigger role with Jefferson likely not playing tonight.
Well, that's the thing, Jeff. It's opportunity knocks almost in terms of the backup point guards. They've got other people who can fill in at that point guard, that spot. But I'm sure that, and I would believe that Lasitovi will go with one of these young guys early in the game just to see if they're ready, just to see if they can give him some quality minutes. I won't be surprised if you saw Chambo and even he might go even deeper and look at one of the young guys and say, hey, this is an opportunity for you. The great thing about these rosters is they're not out there on their own, obviously, but you've got a lot of experience around them. They're practicing every day together. At some point in your career, you have a moment where you break out and step up. Third place game in the Basketball Champions League, I can't think of a better place to do it. And in many ways, it's a third, fourth game. It's important to win it, but there's a little less pressure perhaps and a chance to shine and the chance to get comfortable in the environment.
Well, there's no other point guard in this team like Brandon Jefferson, but we did see Jaromir Bohacic handle the ball quite a bit, bringing the ball up the floor in the semifinals. So it could be more weight on his shoulders. But you know what? When you're playing this game, you're passing the ball around. Maybe again, Unet Holon, for example, Hapoel Unet Credit Holon. You wouldn't say they had an out-and-out point guard. Maybe C.J. Harris is, but I wouldn't say that's a strength of their team. They all chipped in when it came to helping out, bringing the ball up the floor, and what have you. Casademont Zaragoza, meanwhile, we saw Rodrigo San Miguel have a big role to play. He started in the semifinal. It'll be interesting to see who Luis Casimiro goes with tonight. Might it be that man, Rashid Suleiman? But then again, it doesn't matter who starts. It's who finishes. And Zaragoza, it is important for them to kind of take that next step up. They finished fourth last year. They want to finish third. There's San Miguel and fist bumping some of the referees. These, both of these teams have a lot at stake for the rest of the season, and this game, a win here, could be a launch pad to bigger and better things. So we'll see how they handle it.
Well, absolutely. I think the point you made, Jeff, about a springboard for the rest of the season. French and Spanish leagues on the verge of playoff time, and obviously the great thing about the Basketball Champions League, you have to qualify to get in it. It's thereby your performance in your domestic leagues. You may have to qualify, but it's something that you need to finish high enough up. It's something you need to do well enough in your own league to qualify to get your place. So Zaragoza and Strasbourg, they're playing two of the most competitive leagues in Europe. There's no God-given right for them to play in the Basketball Champions League. So a win here and good performances here is right, set them up. It's a long journey back to both those countries. You're going to go one about back with a win, not a loss. Going on that this Zaragoza roster, Jeff, they're deep at the point guard spot. And that's what I think. One of the things about Coach Casimiro is he's one of those coaches who's excellent at if he spots a weakness or he gets an advantage, he'll literally milk it, and he'll milk it for the whole game. So if there's less, it might be down the defensive end where Strasbourg may have more of an issue trying to contain Zaragoza at the point guard spot, almost in the offensive end, because Strasbourg run great systems. Everyone can operate across their system, but one less guard to go against Innis, one less guard with San Miguel, one less guard to go against Suleiman. They bring real energy coming off the bench. So maybe the defensive end that really challenges Strasbourg at the point spot much more than the offensive end, where I think the system could help deal with the loss of Jefferson.
Well, it's year 5, and just as a reminder, if you're a Basketball Champions League fan or your club has been in this competition before, you're well aware, but Tenerife won it year 1, Ike won it in year 2, Virtus Bologna won it in year 3, and of course Hereda San Pablo Burgos won it last year, and they will be in the final this year, so they'll be trying to win it back-to-back, become the first team to win it 2 years in a row. Belenenses had that 26-point performance on day 1 in the quarterfinals, or rather in the quarterfinals, and he was terrific. Referees for today's game: Manuel Mazzoni on the left, Wojciech Liszka in the middle there from Poland, and Yener Yilmaz on the right from Turkey. And also we'll get a look at the starting 5 for both of these two teams. So take it away, Mark.
Well, I think the key for me, Jeff, on this Strasbourg lineup, one, obviously, Mai in the back court, the point guard spot, and he will get some help from both Wainwright and from Wojciech handling the ball. But what's Bonsi Coulson going to give us today? Bonsi Coulson, league MVP, and the way he's come up with great plays, but he hasn't come up with Bonsi Coulson's offensive basketball that he's showed all year. Comes into the final eight averaging 20 plus a game. He's struggled to get into double digits. This guy, on the other hand, has just risen to the occasion. Jean-Baptiste Mars just been tremendous performance in the semi-final, career high. If you're going to come up for career high, do it in a big game. And you can't say enough great things about Lassie Tuovi. Great apprenticeship he's served under some great coaches. We've mentioned, obviously, as we've gone through this process of the final eight, Detman with the national team, the education he got has been tremendous. He's put it on the floor with his team. Zaragoza's starting lineup. I've loved the way Jacob Wiley has really brought such physicality to this line. Brusino does everything. But this guy, full final for the basketball championship, all-time passer with 2-7, 2 assists. He's just a great veteran. And I think, again, one of the areas they can really exploit is the problem that Strasbourg may have in the backcourt. And San Miguel will be one of those guys pushing that. While he's had the final eight of his life, 18 points in the semi-final, 3 from 4, 7 rebounds. His physicality is just phenomenal. And Casimiro's a winner as a coach. And coming in late, replacing Hernandez, a difficult scenario, but he's added to this Zaragoza roster. So I'm excited, Jeff. I think this game, as often third and fourth games are, could be one of those exciting up and down where we can just see some great offensive basketball.
Well, I do think it's worth noting that Jean-Baptiste Mai was terrific in that last game in the semifinal. Had 8 points and 7 assists. He turned it over 3 times, but that's better than a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. So you can live with that. SIG Strasbourg attempted only 55 field goals in the semifinals, which was a season low. What does that tell you? That the defense, I guess it was just mighty tough for Burgos, and Zaragoza leading the Basketball Champions League this season with 19.8 points off turnover. So they definitely like the up-tempo game.
Jeff, the Strasbourg number of only 55 field goals. I mean, there's another number that really tells the story for their season. Even though they're a team that control and are efficient, they have to score 80 points to win. When the last 5 games that they've scored 80, they win. The last 5 games they've scored under 80, they lose. It's tough to score 80-plus points when you're only taking 55 field goals. And even though you can be as efficient as you want, but that's a tough ask. And yes, you can credit the defense that they were facing, but that's just not Strasbourg basketball, 55 shots. So it's going to be and a lot of that would be the problems with Jefferson sitting out chunks of the game and being injured, because he makes shots for himself a lot. But that's not Strasbourg basketball. If there's anything along those lines in this third, fourth game, then the prize money is going to Spain.
It's interesting. One thing we hadn't talked about is Elias Harris in Germany. Curious, isn't it, that he hasn't really become a big part of that national team program? I don't know if that's for some reason that I'm not aware of it, to be honest. He seems the type of player that could be a real spark for them.
But can you imagine him in the backcourt of that German team with the depth, the talent they have? He could be, and the size, he could really ignite them. But national team coaching is about getting the right balance.
Yeah,
maybe that doesn't fit.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Nizhny Novgorod, Russia. This is the third place game of the Basketball Champions League between SIG Strasbourg in the blue and Casademont Zaragoza in the white. So SIG Strasbourg winning the opening tip and attacking the basket to the left. And Yanis Moran misses with the first attempt of the game. Both of these teams, no doubt, were able to use a good day off yesterday. They probably had practice, but they played physical games, both of them. It was about as intense as it's ever been in the Basketball Champions League, in my opinion. That was my driving into the lane and having the shot blocked. Quick pass down low, and already Jacob Wiley goes up and gets the dunk and add another assist to that all-time mark of Rodrigo San Miguel.
Hey Jeff, that stat that you mentioned before the game of points off of turnovers, etc. That's why they got it and ran. They were so balanced down the floor. It was exceptional.
And that's good defense from Jacob Wiley, who I think his only enemy in this, or the biggest issue that he's had, is that he can't play all out for 40 minutes. And tell me a player that can do that. I mean, he has just been sensational, really, for this entire tournament.
Absolutely, Jeff, 100%. I think he's really, his stock has risen as a result of how good he's been in the Basketball Champions League.
Oh, beautiful pass. Look at him share the basketball. Good recovery, though, by Strasbourg to get in there on Brasino. And then the good hands from Mai. And San Miguel has to launch kind of a desperation three that missed badly. Really enjoyed watching these two teams play this year. Bohacic hits a three-pointer. So SIG take the lead. I know they're saying, yeah, it was a three.
I was just about to say they looked a bit static, but once it came out of the corner, the ball movement was quick. Bohacic's just a great spot-up shooter.
Elias Harris misses with the mid-range jump shot. My bounce pass. Oh, lovely stuff. Finished by Ish Wainwright, another of the outstanding players in this Basketball Champions League Final 8. So Harris just missed the shot. Now they push him back out to the perimeter. San Miguel, another attempt, and I'm guessing that if SIG Strasbourg force that to happen, they'll be happy. They'd like to see San Miguel taking those shots. Defense is his forte. Now a needless turnover by Yanis Moran. Shaky start for the big center.
Again, it's a little weird in some ways, because Strasbourg really, they got the stop before, the possession before, they've moved the ball really nicely. And then it's just a couple of sort of crazy or sloppy turnovers as we see the replay of the Wainwright's great touch on the shot. And in these games, Jeff, it's going to come down to only one or two sloppy turnovers. Could be the difference as Wiley throws it down. Or not Wiley, sorry. Harris throws it down.
Well, you know what? You watch how SIG Strasbourg played in the semifinal in their game against Burgos on Friday night, and you can understand how you simply cannot turn the ball over cheaply. You know, you need to take advantage of all your chances against a team like Burgos.
It's that scenario where on a miss, Jeff, or on a turnover in particular, you're just not organized defensively. You've just got to work your transition defense out. And at this level, teams are so good at making decisions in transition.
Good help defense by Brasino. Oh, look at that crazy situation. And in the end, Bohacic gets fouled. So he will go to the line. Looked like Zaragoza had actually forced another turnover.
Well, in some ways they almost had. And I mean, Casemiro believes that, yeah, 24. The ball didn't hit the ring on the, that's why they threw it up from the floor. Like, they throw it up from the floor here because there's hardly any time on the clock. And maybe he has a point. I couldn't really see the far end and whether they reset or not, yeah. Hey, but the whistle didn't go, so Boychek did what you tell every young player to do. Just play to when the referee tells you not to play. But Luis Casemiro is looking to the stars, should we say, in terms of what happened there.
Well, the Czech international, Jaromír Boháček, makes both free throws in his first season away from Nymburk, and took a little bit of time for him to adjust, and seems to have fit in really nicely here for Strasbourg. Now a foul down low.
See, Jeff, I love just the level of officiating is, and I'm not a refereeing expert, but it's just so easy for you and I to see because it's so consistent. You know, they had their hands on the offensive player, so the referee just, yeah, you can't do that. I'm going to call the foul. There's no interpretation or anything like that. I just, the level of the officiating, consistency, whatever consistency means for me, is so good to see. And every crew referees the game the same way. So for a coach, doesn't matter where you show up in Europe, you're going to get the same level of officiating and the same type of calls. It's so good. Great work by the people coordinating the officiating.
Oh, great hands there by Brusino. Just a block on Colson. And when you think about it with Brusino and Colson, for some reason, I just look at Colson as being a much bigger player, but that right there tells you a different story, doesn't it?
Oh, no,
Brusino is just, he's so long, isn't he? Oh, yep. And it's driving in, missing. Mai, the open floor, no-look pass. He's open, he's going to take it, why not? And going to miss it.
Still a shot he wants, though. Yeah, in terms of a shot, unbalanced shot that they would look to take out of transition.
Now Brusino loses it out of bounds. Or have they called a foul? Yeah, I think they called a foul on Yannis.
Yeah, I think they've called a foul, yeah.
Against number 24, Ismail Wainwright.
No, they've called it on Wainwright.
Foul on Wainwright, yeah. Must have had he did have a dig at the basketball, so yeah, contact on that reach.
Ennis passes, another one for Wiley. And Miguel coming up, almost coming up with the steal. Makes himself available.
Yep.
Colson from the arc.
You still got the feel, Jeff, that he's still like searching for things, isn't he, Bonsi Colson? He's not letting the game come to him. Oh,
wow. Another great pass by Ennis, this time to Brusino. We're used to seeing Dylan Ennis driving hard to the basket, but he is drawing the attention of the defense and just making some splendid passes. Steal by San Miguel. This time Ennis, well, now he's going to bring it back out. And Barreto steps back and hits a three. So Jonathan Barreto, his first three-pointer of the final 8. Nice little run here for Zaragoza. And another turnover on Strasbourg, and they are really struggling right now. Wow, just a wonderful pass.
Cute pass. Yeah, what a cute pass.
So Strasbourg looking a little confused. Colson didn't step over, and so often you see, if you have a Strasbourg team that starts slow, you bring the likes of Mai and Cavalier off the bench. But this time they've taken Mai off the court, and they've had to bring somebody else in. Now here's a turnover, and Bonsi Colson bounced pass to that man Boháček. Much better.
Well, Boháček's carrying them offensively at the moment. Only one that really looks in rhythm. I know the last couple have been back cuts.
Well, they're just having a lot of joy passing it down into the paint. And Ennis is going to have a field day today. He's already got 4 assists. DeAndre Lansdowne, who came in from Mai, he's fouled by Rashid Suleiman, who's entered the game as well for San Miguel.
And it's just, it's poor defense by Wainwright. He allows Brasini to get across him, beat him on a front cut, and good things happen for offenses if you get that sort of angle of cut. You can't let people beat you to a space, and that front cut does actually enable them to do it. Wainwright's just got to stay a little bit higher up the floor so that that lane doesn't even exist.
Lansdowne has been in foul trouble in this final 8. Hasn't really been on his best form. This is his first free throw, and the second. And Barreiro, who was a little bit, I felt, tentative in the first 2 games, which is understandable.
And that's something he's well, but he's not been tentative during the regular season, has he? He's come off and given the team energy.
Here he is traveling.
And substitution.
In some way, though, Jeff, you'd like the fact that he's started to try and make something happen. And okay, he's traveled on that occasion, but you've got to, as soon as the team works out that you're tentative, you're playing 4 on 5, so it makes life very, very difficult.
Bohacic, oh boy, he goes in, puts the pressure on Helenissen, who is moving over to help out. And watch this. He takes on the big center. He's got his hand on him right there. And then just a little bit of probably
just
upper arm.
Just across the shoulder, yeah.
You're usually going to get rewarded if you're attacking in that sense. So Bohacic makes his first attempt. Talking about Barreiro, he's still young, just 24 years of age.
Yep.
And so this will be a good learning experience for him.
SIG Strasbourg, Ismail Wainwright replaced by number 4, Leo Cavalier.
Jeff Wycheck has 9 of the 11 points for Strasbourg at the moment, and when he starts to be aggressive like he was on that last play, that's great for Strasbourg. And you said before the game, everyone's got to step up and do a little bit to take the weight of Jefferson not being here. Well, Wycheck's definitely doing that.
Great point. You can see Helenissen tried to, thought he might get a free pass since he was passing it out to the corner, but Mazzoni called the charge.
It's a little unfortunate, isn't it? Because Cavalier was very late into the camera angle, should we say. He was, to me, like Helenissen had already started the drive and possibly had taken off.
He also had one of his feet on the keyway line.
Yeah.
Number 7, Jonathan Barreiro.
So Leo Cavalier is all about energy, hustle, type of player that can really fit into any team.
Oh, you can never have enough, can you? You got guys like that who come off the bench with energy, things, good, bad, or indifferent, something happens. And Strasbourg often need that. Sometimes they need to get a little out of control or a little up tempo, and just to get them back on track. And he just works so hard at both ends of the floor.
That was a good reaction there by Bonzi Colson. Operating down the low blocks, now driving in Suleiman. So
Talking to people who are up tempo.
Lansdowne. Lenison with the rebound. Over to Ennis. Wow, Dylan Ennis having himself another big game today. He's usually going to get his points, but when you add in the fact he's had the early assist haul, he's got the complete game, and it's 18-14 now in favor of Zaragoza. Fonzie Colson drives in and gets pinned by Lennison. Well, Lennison, I mean, we didn't get a chance to see the block there, but that was exquisite stuff going up against the MVP of the Basketball Champions League. And Lennison saying, not in my house. Harris takes the handoff, loses control of it. Chickambo now brings it. He's got some nice ability, this kid. He just needs some minutes. Here he is, drives in, and just a little bit short. You can see he's desperate to play. He's going to get his chance today.
They have to call the foul. They tried very, very hard to not call the foul because it looked like that Ennis was going to go up on the drive. But it's good to see the guy, the young kid come in, not fazed by the situation. There'll
just
be people
19 years of age.
home. Yeah. I mean, people sitting at home go, oh, why did he take that shot? It's a tough shot. Hey, gets to the far side of the ring. He's got a 4-foot like baby running hook. It's not a bad option for him. He just couldn't make it. But the fact is, he comes off the bench. He's got to take that confidence. I'm playing, and he didn't phase. He went back down the other end and really worked hard defensively. The world is against Jean-Baptiste Maille at the moment. Comes back in and then picks up a little weak foul, should we say, which because of the free throw penalty situation will send Zaragoza to the free throw line.
Well, you do wonder, I mean, in this team anyway, he's just so effective coming off the bench. It's quite a difference to start the game.
You're right, Jeff. The mentality's different. And you come off the bench, your job is to bring in, whereas he starts, he's got to lead the floor from the point. He's got to set the tempo. He's got to make the right calls. He's got to involve everybody. He's an experienced player, but it's still a different role. Nice move to the ring.
Yeah, much better that time from Lansdowne. They got to get some production out of him, especially again with no Brandon Jefferson today. So the final seconds ticking off the clock here in the first quarter of the third place game. And Suleiman lost control, gets it back, gets it to Brasino, who misses. And nobody boxes out Harris. And he misses a short one, so a break, a reprieve for SIG Strasbourg. And it is Casademont Zaragoza leading it 20-16 here in Nizhny Novgorod at the end of one.
Well, stats-wise, Zaragoza very efficient. A lot of those 6 for 9 are in transition. And not a lot of threes being put up by the team, but a really nice first quarter.
Well, Strasbourg also able to get to the line, 5 of 8. And I would imagine perhaps even in the second half, the intensity level is going to be ratcheting up quite a bit in this game. These two teams trade blows. Mahachik has always been a huge talent, and he's perhaps maybe not so much deferred to others, but his role hasn't, his ability to put the ball in the basket hasn't been as crucial for Strasbourg this season, but he has come out today and really carried the team in the first quarter.
Jeff, I think that point about his role, I think you made it in commentary that it took him a while to settle in. If you look at his numbers since, in the last 2/3 of the season, perhaps, he's been significant as the season's gone on, as he's felt more comfortable, because he grew up, he played for a long time in the Czech Republic, then he leaves, and it's a different different environment. So it's obviously going to take him a while to settle, like it would anybody into any new job. But he's becoming really crucial to Strasbourg. He plays the way that Coach Tuobi wants to play. And so it's going to be, I'm looking, if they can keep him and build on the success they've had this year, I really do think he's going to have a major role in Strasbourg. If he stays, he'll have a major role wherever else he goes. Dylan Innes sitting down with the 4 assists and the 3 points. As you said, Jeff, if he's got 4 assists, there's no telling what his efficiency rating could be if he starts scoring as he has normally.
Oudinot in the game as well for Strasbourg. One of their real enforcers, but Lansdowne comes out and gets it to drop from 3-point range. You know, one more comment about Bohacic, though. Don't forget, he is probably one of the top 3 players in that Czech national team that is ranked 12th in the world. So that speaks volumes about how crucial he is. Now stepping back, and a foul called out on the perimeter. Suleiman will get to go to the line. You know what I said, Mark, about you know, Cavalier is the type of player you could have on any team, because look at him hustling for that rebound. But I'd almost say the same thing about Lansdowne, even though he committed the foul there. He is the ultimate spark. I mean, he plays with fire, and that's the one thing about this Strasbourg team. They have probably 4 or 5 guys like that you could just see playing in any team. Now, Cavalier made a mistake there, didn't box out Barreiro, who gets a layup.
Barreiro's got a body, Jeff. You know, as you say, he's only 23, but he's 2 meters 3 and he's strong. If you don't put a body on him, he can be very destructive on the glass. Has 5 points already.
Okay, so Lansdowne has Harris outside, puts up a very difficult shot, and he missed everything, so the putback is not going to count from Ike Oudinot.
Yeah.
So solid play by Elias Harris defensively.
First personal foul, team second. Back onto the court for Strasbourg, number 50, Bonzi Colson 2.
And he's looking a little bit lively today.
It's instant offense, Jeff. He comes off that bench, and coming off the bench, as we just said, you've got that role. You understand it. You come off, you're going to look to take shots, look to tick the scoreboard over. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know you're going to go out at some point. And he's just explosive. He can create space, get separation, and he's just a scorer. I'd almost call him a scorer, not a shooter. And he's such a tough ass to guard.
Mai has it. Now Colson. Cavalier with the rebound. And Chikumbu misses from 3-point range. Now spinning, scooping and hooping and missing was Suleiman. Quickly to the other end is Mai. And look at Colson. Nobody picks up Bonzi Colson.
Yeah, it's again that early shot before the defense is set. If you can get it quickly, be balanced and spaced, there's huge opportunities in transition.
San Miguel's pass batted. Out it goes to the perimeter, and swooping in for the rebound is Bonzi Colson. The kind of player that needs to get his hands on the basketball. Here he goes again. He just wants touches. He turns and puts it up and draws the foul.
And he's earned that MVP tag for the season with just such consistency of performance. And while he might be disappointed with the way the first 2 games have gone here, you know he's going to keep doing the same things, keep trying to be aggressive. He's just got to relax with it a little bit. He doesn't have to force it every time. Let the game come to him, and he's going to have a great game here because he almost deserves it after the super season he's had. it's interesting, Jeff. He's got a lot more productive and active and getting to the hoop off the dribble since Rusino checked out the game. You know, if he's matched up with Robin Benzing, that's you know, that's a different quickness, should we say, to go at. And he's interested to see if they keep going to that matchup.
Well, he made 42 of 51 free throws during the regular season, better than 82%. He went 1 of 2 on that trip. Benzing just grazed the net. Harris, or rather, Barreto was able to rebound it. Ball stay at this end, that extra effort.
Enter the game for Casademont Zaragoza. Ennis replacing Suleiman.
So Ennis comes back in for Rashid Suleiman.
And what do they is an upgrade in many ways, but the quickness is still the same. There's such a handful at that point guard spot. Oh,
how about Barreto?
Barreto just lays it. That's back-to-back layups, Jeff.
That's the type of game where he might really stand out. He's looked a different player already here in this first half. Ish Wainwright hands it off to Colson. Chickamboom. Over to Mai, into the corner, look at him swing it. Oh, Colson, that was his spot. He decides to drive. And excellent work from Yanis Moran to save it in bounds. To even get the rebound, in fact. Look at SIG Strasbourg move the basketball, and ultimately, it's not been his day, has it, Mai? He's called for a charge. Looked like he might have even traveled before he made the pass, before he charged.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think when things aren't going your way, that's when sometimes the referee's already called the travel. And therefore, you know, you might not get the foul, but the way his day is going, it was always going to be called a foul.
So Mai is, he's got 2 fouls. He hasn't scored. He's 0 for 2 from the floor, and he's turned it over once. He does have 5 assists. The likes of Yanis Moran and especially Ike Udino seem to have been pretty quiet today so far. And there's the FIBA president taking in the action today here in Nizhny Novgorod in year 5 of the Basketball Champions League. President Haman Yang. And always good to see him at events. FIBA does just obviously interested in basketball all over the place, and I think they're really pleased with how the Basketball Champions League has evolved over the first 5 years. I don't know what you would think, honestly. Maybe when we have a dead ball, you can tell me about the progress of the competition. Here's Benzing getting down on the low block, spinning, turning, putting it up, denied, but look at the hustle from Wiley once again. And now the shot off the back of the iron, and Wiley with another rebound. Here's Barreto looking confident, but short. And the ball is turned over to Barreto. I think, Mark, out of all 5 years, in all honesty, I mean, I guess in year 2, Murcia was really solid in the playoffs. Remember some really hard-fought games. But for me, this Basketball Champions League Final 8, as you look at that drive and basket for Dylan Ennis, for me this year, it's actually gone up a notch, this end-of-season showpiece event.
Jeff, every game, I know it's sometimes it sounds like we're almost agreeing with things we've said previously all too much, but we said right day one as the timeout's taken that these games were all too close to call because of how the season had been. And you look at the way teams have got on some momentum runs, but it worked the other way. Strasbourg's case in point, lose 3, win 3. And the competitiveness of the games, you've got like Holland, they're classic, literally classic games against Brindisi in the round of 16. These games were like, could have gone either way, came down to 1 or 2 plays. I definitely think the level of competition is a notch up. There's been so many competitive games, very few blowouts, very few games where a team has not been in the game with a chance to win. And there's been some great stories with all sorts of teams like going on runs, getting all sorts of firsts. And that's against a backdrop of having to do qualifiers in bubbles, having to rearrange games. And I just think it's the Basketball Champions League, as you say, has kept getting better. Now we've got like a product on the floor that can almost withstand anything. It's withstanding the problems with the pandemic, and the quality is just exceptional now. And you've got the most important thing for fans is watching high-level competitive games. Well, the Basketball Champions League has had plenty of those all season.
And I really like the fact that these teams have, well, they've had to earn their spots, haven't they? So now, well, that's Bahacic. It's not what he needs.
There was no intent on this, Jeff. This looks like a little, this has ended up, yeah, see the screen by Moran sort of forced Ennis's arm up, which then went up into the face of Bahacic. There was a foul there, obviously, but it wasn't like a swinging arm or anything like that. It was the contact in the screen that almost forced his hand, Dylan Ennis's hands in. And you can see Dylan Ennis's expression. You know, he's concerned because he knows what happened. You know, the heel of his hand went straight into the forehead or around the eye area, completely, you know, forced by the contact on the screen. And you wouldn't expect anything else of Dylan Ennis to look concerned because, you know, the guy's out there playing hard. And I think the guys are going to look at it, but I don't think there's anything that's going to really, I would hope they see it the way I've just seen it.
But they called the foul on Yanis Moran.
What happened after the offensive foul that you call, if there is something, some foul that we can call as unsportsmanlike foul. Wow. Let's play, please. After the goal. No. Okay. It was because of moving screen. Look, this is a basketball movement. Yeah. And because it was an illegal screen. Absolutely. Yeah. It was an accidental contact. Yeah. So we will not call any more foul. So we will stay with an offensive foul. Offensive foul. Yeah. And we stay with that decision, and we restart with side out, white ball. We stay like this.
In my opinion, Jeff, for what it's worth, perfect explanation by the officials.
Yeah.
But it's great that they go and have a look. I do think they use the technology really quickly. They're very efficient the way they use it. Great call on the offensive foul. I think the way that referees are trying to tidy up moving screens in the last year or so has been a really real benefit to the game. You know, back in the old days of having to set your screen properly, that's a great move by the officiating department, should we say, who set the rules.
Bahacic goes out and Lansdowne comes in. And Zaragoza here with perhaps an opportunity to really build a lead here before halftime. And Dylan Ennis comes out and strikes from downtown. So he is rolling here in this first half. He's got 8 points now and 4 assists. Beautiful pass down, and then Mai almost missed it. See if Mai can get it going now. First 2 points of the game. And Wiley lost it when he was going up.
Jeff, Dylan Ennis is feeling it at the moment. It's literally every time he touched it, it's like great's happening for Zaragoza. Great penetration. Could have gone for the tough one. Gave it the pass to Wiley, and he's expecting that to be thrown down. Quick hands saves the day.
But they still get 2. And it is from Robin Benzing. And now Barreiro has gone down. Looks like he might have turned his ankle. That's not good. just when he was really kind of finding some rhythm in this game. We hope that's not going to be it, but it could be.
And we have now a timeout. Timeout Strasbourg.
So
I mean, Strasbourg are taking the timeout, Jeff. So, I mean, they've got plenty to talk about because at the moment, Dylan Innes is getting what he wants. And not only is he getting what he wants for himself, he is showing what a great player he is. He's sharing the ball as well. And that's, you said they have a chance to build a big lead. And if they find a way of containing Innes in the next few possessions, this could get very difficult for Strasbourg. Going back down the other way, we talked about, trying to not let people beat you on front cuts. Well, Rodrigo San Miguel did that, and then no one helped him, and Mai got his first two. But Wojciech's gonna, if he can, I can't believe they'll leave him out for any longer than they absolutely have to, because he was their most effective and efficient performer at the moment. Barrero's up weight bearing, Jeff. That's always a good sign.
Well, I guess it's late enough in the first half where they feel like they might want to go ahead and take him back to the locker room and have a look at it.
Yep.
4 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Close game. Casademont Zaragoza, 34. SIG Strasbourg, 24.
Oh, yeah, it was a collision with Wiley that he had.
Yeah.
He kind of stepped on his
That's
foot.
why Wiley was hanging around. Yeah, it was his own player again.
You're looking at Dylan Innes and the way he's played today, and his stock is going up, isn't it? I mean, it looks like he's really, in some respects, been even better this year than he was last year when he made the star lineup. Now the drive and the basket good by Udino, and Strasbourg needs somebody to bring some energy.
This is a super move, the footwork on this. Watch this. He'll spin baseline, gets to the spot, then takes the extra step to get right to the ring, draws the contact. That's a super move. That's a super move, all made by the quality of the footwork, but he's obviously a great athlete as well, can go through the contact. If it makes the three points back to 7, get a stop, you're right back in it, and Strasbourg, the timeouts worked. They ran whatever coach wanted them to run coming out of that timeout. They get a shot they want. All things starting to look brighter for Strasbourg.
You'd really hope both of these teams would keep the majority of their roster together because, they could really build on the season. Udino's going to be back. Look at that. Oh, wonderful drive by San Miguel. Oh, what a bounce pass that was to Lansdowne. Then they get it over to Colson, which is like a layup for him. Certainly in the flow, the rhythm of the offense. I would have second-guessed that if it had been anybody else, but Lansdowne given the assist. Because Lansdowne was right there at the rim, wasn't he?
Yep, that's Colson, the game coming to him.
And
that little spell, Jeff. That little spell where Coulson got to the basket when Benzing was guarding him seemed to have, he's more relaxed now. He's in the flow, gets his three-point shot going. This is warming up really nicely.
Now, when it says ranked 3rd all-time passers, that's assists is what they're talking about.
I hope so, Jeff. Anyway.
Now the spin. Wiley. Casademont Zaragoza trying to pick it back up again, and aggressive Dylan Innes. Look at him. Look at him go. I said it the other night, and I'm going to say it again. He's got 2 speeds, fast and faster. And this is faster. And you can also throw in the adjective ferocious.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Mark.
Just tremendous. All the quickness and everything else. You add the quality of how he does things. I think you're absolutely right, Jeff. He has become an even better basketball player in this last season. And Zaragoza, depending on what contractual arrangements they have with him, have got a real asset in that roster now, and he's one of those guys. He's that good. You can build things around him for a number of years, number of options. He's got real good quality partners in the backcourt. He plays hard at both ends. He looks like a great teammate, and he shares the ball. It's not all about him. He's just he's right up there. I mean, he's playing in the toughest league in Europe, arguably, and getting it done there, and he's getting it done in the Basketball Champions League. So only way is up for him and Zaragoza if they can keep that going.
Well, Bohacic back in the game, and now I think Harris is going to be guilty of pushing off on Cavalier. Now, the one thing I would have said about Ennis last year was I thought at times he might have been a little bit out of control, but I think where it helps this season is he's surrounded by more players like Wiley, for example, that really like to run. And Suleiman likes to run. San Miguel gets up and down the floor pretty quickly, so Persino can, play that style of game. So I think maybe this team is a better fit for him than it was last year. Also Harris even.
Yeah. And it's whether it's not just about athleticism and foot speed and all those sorts of things. They move the ball very quickly. The whole tempo of Zaragoza. Ennis used to stand out because he was the only one running that quick or trying to play that quick.
Exactly. Well, that's 2 in a row for Bonzi Colson from that right corner.
Colson corner. He looks very comfortable down there.
Yeah. The only thing is you could also call it the Colson wing. He's pretty comfortable from all over the three-point arc.
Exactly. Oh, nice pass.
Again, quick hands. Colson knocks it out of Wiley's hands.
9 seconds on the shot clock.
All ball. Excellent no call by the ref.
We've got to be careful. We're giving the refs too many positives here, Jeff.
I think that they're overrated.
Yeah, I wouldn't want them to, think we like them or anything,
I think we're just got to be honest. If we see one we don't like, we'll just say it. So that was Persino and getting tangled up there with Colson. I think they blew that one.
Yeah.
Well, Persino thinks they blew it.
Yeah.
Back to the game, Strasbourg ball.
Bohacic spinning his way up and back. Cavalier for 3. And shot clock about to expire. Udino was able to get it off in time. Cavalier, I'm not sure that's what I would say is his forte. And this time the block is called on Cavalier. You think about you look at Persino, and you think about all the Argentinian players, in the current generation. Yeah, he was definitely in late. And, Facu Campazzo is over in the NBA now. And who was the other guy that was at the World Cup? Who went over?
Deck has gone to the NBA as well, right?
So Gabriel Deck, yeah. And it just illustrates, I mean, these guys kind of, in some respects, are late bloomers. I think Persino may have gone a little bit too early, but you could see these guys have so much to their games. I mean, they're great athletes, great shooters, very tricky. He makes that free throw, takes it up to an 8-point lead.
And the other thing, Jeff, their IQ is so high. They really understand. They do a great job developing talent.
Yeah,
but their IQ is phenomenal.
Oh, nice move down low by Udino. That's probably the one quality, that I was searching for, Mark. Thanks for digging that one out. That's what it is. They know how to get around on the court. And
I'm like Jeff. It's like if you know what you can do and do it, and if you know where you've got strengths and weaknesses, you exploit it, and you then fit that into whatever role your coach asks you to do, and then you're going to play at a great level. And they do that as well as anybody. And their national team just reflects that in how they do it. Like internationally, they do just phenomenally well. Probably better than their athleticism at times.
Ennis puts it up. Ball batted out. And now Benzing, a little bit twisting, flying in, and Cavalier picks up another foul. And speaking of Dylan Ennis in Canada, you know, when are we going to see that?
His second penalty.
Wow. Trouble with that, yeah, we are getting into that's down that Canadian route. It's like you never know who's quite going to show up, do you? And it's like they could have something really special, and you're never quite sure. I think that we saw them at the under-19, win an under-19 World Championship. I think they're one great performance away at an international competition from almost everybody wanting to play. There's always that debate about who's playing. They just need a great performance at a national team championship, be it an Olympic Games or a World Cup, whatever it is. And then I think they're right there, and they're there for a while.
I could see him fitting in very nicely to a very good Canada team. I think he would be a nice compliment because he likes to run.
Yep. And they've got a lot of people who like to run. So, yep.
Benzing takes it up to an 8-point advantage here. Final 20 seconds, about a 3 or 4 second differential in the game clock and shot clock. So Cavalier comes up. Mai hands it off to Cavalier. Oh, excellent play. Good control by Cavalier right at the end, but he took it early. Here's Ennis. This is where he's good. He goes up and earns a trip to the line. We saw him score right at the end of was it halftime or the quarter the other day? Went from one end of the court to the next, and here he is getting the contact. This would have been a 3-point play, I think, wouldn't it, if he had made it?
Yep. I'm not sure what they're gonna review the play, and it was definitely in time. So I think they might be saying, was there any interference? I assume that I can only believe that's what they're looking at.
Keep going, stop, back. So I would like maybe this camera. Okay, go back. Go back. No, we need to go front, sorry, my bad. Okay, wait. Now. Wait. Go. Yeah, stop. 1.4. That's perfect. Thank you. So it's 1.4. 1 second and 4 tenths.
They're just putting time back onto the clock because they blew the whistle at the point of the foul. So therefore, you know, that's why the official wants to. At one point, it could be, who knows? Mark, they throw it full court, they get it, and win, they're fine.
But if he makes both free throws, they can advance the ball, right? They can call timeout and advance it.
No, only at the end of the game.
Okay.
But they've still got 1.4, so they've always got that. They've always got that hope, if you want, with the 1.4. With 0.3, they have no chance.
Sure. At what point does that kick in at the end of the game, advancing the ball?
Last 2 minutes. Last two. Yeah.
Just wanted that to be a teaching moment for our listeners. Oh boy, look at this. Almost a very costly turnover, but Benzing couldn't quite control it. Well, you have to like Casademont Zaragoza, led once again by Dylan Ennis. First of all, he was dishing it out, but right now he's got 12 points and 4 assists, and they lead it 44-37 over SIG Strasbourg at halftime. Strasbourg
again. I've only taken 31 shots, Jeff, and They've got to get more. They've got to get more shots up. Otherwise, they're just not gonna. I don't think they're gonna have enough chances to score enough points. Everything else is pretty tight, and I think Strasbourg should be happy. They're only 7 down. They're right in the game. And most importantly than anything else is that Bonzi Colson has 11 at the half. He struggled to get to double digits on games so far, so he's back in rhythm.
Look back at some of the highlights, and you talked about this Casademont Zaragoza team. You see some baskets by Strasbourg. Casademont Zaragoza wanted to get that 80 points or more mark to improve their chances, and they're right at 44 right now, so they're clearly playing their kind of game. This was when Dylan Ennis was setting up his teammates.
Yeah.
And we'll eventually see him start to score. Bohacek was the main man early on. That was him getting fouled. Then this was Ennis on the break. And Lansdowne doing a great job getting to the basket. Remember, no Brandon Jefferson today for this Strasbourg team that lost to Oreda San Pablo Burgos the other night when Lansdowne suffered a thigh injury. Suleiman had a couple of good moments early on. And we also saw some good things from Barreto, but he left the game after stepping on Wiley's foot. Looked like he might have rolled his ankle, rolled his foot. But Ennis went from provider to scorer, and again, just playing with a lot of confidence. And you know, in terms of this season and where they are in Spain, it's probably going to be a big ask for them to get to the playoffs. I don't think that's going to happen, is it?
No, they have a losing record in the ACB at the moment, and as competitive as it is, I don't think there's enough games that they'll make.
They're 14 and 20. Behind Unicaja, but they're behind 3 other teams as well. But Unicaja have 15 wins, but they've got 3 more losses than Unicaja, as well as 3 more than Gran Canaria. So, yeah, you're right. I think they're going to run out of time.
And as good a job as Coach Hernandez did when he came in, Jeff, he didn't turn it around at home. In the BCL, they were great. They just couldn't get enough wins in the ACB. But it's like leading scorer for Strasbourg, Bonzi Colson, is like, welcome back the real Bonzi Colson, because in the first 2 games, he's been searching and literally searching for his offensive game. We all know how great he was the other night in terms of effort in the quarterfinal. But when he can stroke it like this from the perimeter, it's clear why he's the Basketball Champions League MVP.
Well, Strasbourg are 3rd in France, behind Monaco and Dijon. They'll definitely be in the playoffs. You see again, as you look at this Zaragoza team, getting big moments, points, assists from Dylan Ennis. He had 26 in the first game. Might he get to that level again in this one, or anything close to it?
Well, the way he's playing at the moment, Jeff, I don't think they can contain him, and that's what we said before the game. However much offensive a miss Brandon Jefferson is, you know, his quickness, he's only 173, Brandon Jefferson. His quickness, though, could have kept Ennis in front of him much more than they've currently managed to do.
Thank you so much.
Telegraph pass picked off by Ravacera, but the swat for Ish Wainwright. He was able to play with it. Benite somehow gets his way in, and he's got a chance for a 3-point play. With a quality, that is a smooth move. Jefferson looking very presidential. He puts it up. Good, finally. And it's a 1-point game. They've got to believe in themselves. SIG Strasbourg. He had plenty of time to set his feet. And again, he had missed a couple of shots, but you know what? He's a good shooter. The miss, but Zimmerman there for the rebound, passes it outside. And Morgan comes up with the basketball. He's going to go in. He's going to dunk it. And I think they may have called a foul. They have indeed. They're already up 7. The final seconds ticking off the clock in the first half. And the foul called, it looks like, on Coulson. Bullet pass from Omar Cook down low to Benite, back in and wreaking havoc. Look at this again, whipping it in there. Wow. Through it again, rejected. And then Ruban again comes in and makes the play. Look at that. Goodness gracious. So Wainwright has the 4 fouls. He hands it off to DeAndre Lansdowne, who pulls up and gets to the drop. He was being guarded by Sasu Saline, and Saline looked like he kind of slipped as he tried to stop. And time now running out on Nizhny Novgorod. The pass. Oh, the throwdown right at the end from Rashid Suleiman. An exclamation mark. Oh, boy. Terrific. Oh, goodness me. Is he okay? Help him up. No. It looks like he's hurt. Is that Tyrus McGee? Wow. Look at that. A little bit delayed. I was shocked.
Агропромышленный холдинг РВП Групп. Свинина высокого качества.
Casademont Zaragoza on top of SIG Strasbourg at halftime, 44-37 in the third place game of the Basketball Champions League. It's been the second year that we've had a Final Eight, and of course the format was kept the Final Eight because of the coronavirus pandemic, and all things considered, it's just been an outstanding season. And I think, Mark, you'd probably agree with me that while we enjoyed the Final Eight last year, and there were some wonderful talking points, especially the way that Herrera San Pablo Burgos came out and won the title, I think this year's Final Eight has been more competitive. I mean, game by game, there has, the intensity, the vibe, everything has been just terrific. It was understandable last year because some teams hadn't had as many games or whatever because of the pandemic, but this year it's just been electric stuff here in Nizhny Novgorod.
Jeff, absolutely. Let's
listen to
Coach first. Yeah.
Well, first of all, we need to respect the game named basketball. We are not here in the first half. They scored 44 points by just an effort and interest. They didn't even make shots, and 44 is way too much. So we need to start from our defense, pride, and stuff like that. How we get it going, it starts from each and every individual, and suddenly the team will get going.
Thank you very much.
Jeff, I like Suovi. Just says it as it is in this instance. He has given up too many things at the ring, and he just can't get things going that way, and they need to get more points in transition.
Will he continue the game?
Yes, I think we need to play smart in offense. We need to control the rebound too.
How is Barrera? Will he continue?
Yes, it's okay for play the second half.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, the effort, and I don't want to point the finger at Ish Wainwright, but I thought it was a curious first half for Ish Wainwright, because usually he's a player that you want out there all the time. And when you look at his contribution, 12 minutes, 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. This is a team that he really needs to give a spark to with his effort.
Jeff,
so I'd look for much better for him.
Jeff. Absolutely. I just draw the comparison. We said before the game, everyone has to chip in, everyone has to make up for the Jefferson not being there. Wojciech, the other end of the spectrum, he stepped up at the beginning of the game, tried to take more responsibility, took a lot of shots. That's the sort of thing we need from, if this team's going to come back, it needs Wainwright to take that type of role, especially without Jefferson on the floor. So there's your comparator between those two, and Wainwright needs to come to the party in the second half.
So Bonzi Colson, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists.
Ну что, Нижний Новгород, впереди вторая половина. Я надеюсь, что вы успели отдохнуть, так как это сделали команды. Ну и готовы ко второй половине матча. Матч за третье место совсем.
Ish Wainwright is starting the second half. But that was about as mad as you'll see Lassi Tuovi, I think. Certainly frustration-wise. Second half action is underway here in Nizhny Novgorod, and Zaragoza leading it by 7 points over Strasbourg in the third place game.
The first personal foul of this third quarter is against SIG Strasbourg.
It's a great decision to start him, but he's got to return that confidence and consistency from Toby with a performance, not like a weak foul like that he started the second half.
Well, he's got 3 fouls now, so now getting in low, and that is quite a move from Elias Harris.
Wow.
Sometimes his ability just really is jaw-dropping, and that was one of those occasions. Bohacic left his feet, wanting to get to Yanis Moran, and then it goes again, alley-oop, and it's gone from bad to worse for Strasbourg here at the beginning of the third quarter.
And we have a timeout. Strasbourg.
Timeout Strasbourg.
Oh, great.
It wasn't the pass that perhaps Brusino wanted. I assume he would want to go up there and throw it down, but great body control by him. That was definitely the shot that Harris would want to finish off. But Jeff, you know, to go back to the same point, Wainwright started on Harris, fouled him. Harris put it on the floor, went by him baseline and threw it down. You know, Wainwright needs to return the faith in Coach Tuobi here. He's such a good player. When he plays with the energy, you've seen it all through the Basketball Champions League. His team really need him to show some leadership as much as anything else right now, because they need his quality and they need his effort. Because the bottom line, Jeff, he's a great player, and without Jefferson, he needs to, you know, take a little bit of Jefferson's responsibility as well.
And we have an 11-point lead for Casademont Zaragoza.
Well, been a solid player in his career in Europe. Of course, one of those players who went to Gonzaga from overseas. Get so many Europeans and internationals. Played briefly, played a year with the Lakers, up and down with them and the defenders, and then with Bamberg. Here he is with Zaragoza. And good strong move down low by Yanis Moran. I'm guessing Tuobi may have said, you guys are walking home if you don't start picking up your level of effort here. Let's see what
That's a long walk, Jeff. That's a long walk.
We'll see you next year, maybe. No, I'm not saying the effort was that bad, but he certainly wants them to see him play a little bit harder. There's a Harris getting after it, and Wainwright rebounds the miss and gets it to Mai. Colson pulls up, and that is Moran going up, and Ennis winning the rebound. Ennis attacks, goes to the line.
They've got to hang in now, Strasbourg. I mean, Zaragoza have come out the locker room with the same energy they went in. And they've literally, every time they've had the chance, they've taken it right down the gut of that Strasbourg defense. And they've got to protect, they've got to defend. And Coach said that in that little short interview. It's got to start at the defensive end. They've given up too many points. Well, at the moment, there's been no change. It's got to find someone who's going to spark that change.
So, Ramon, the assistant.
They don't think it was Wainwright's foul. That's the
Wainwright.
Yeah.
So, are they going to give it to Wainwright?
He may have a point, Jeff. I don't think Wainwright had got back, so he may have a point that he wasn't in the play. I wouldn't mind seeing it again right now as well. So. I'm pretty sure he went to the offensive glass, Wainwright. I was going to comment that he'd got the defensive rebound on the possession before, ran the wing and actually went to the glass. Didn't get involved in the rebound. As I said, I'd love to see it again. Without seeing it again, I obviously don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't in the foul.
Yeah, they've called the foul on Bonzi Colson. They've changed it.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Well, that was certainly, I don't know if they would have changed that if Romain Leroy had not spotted it, the assistant coach of Strasbourg. Here's Mai off the front of the rim, and it leads to another break. Wiley. Wow. Only one team in it right now, and it's Casademont Zaragoza. They have extended their lead to 13. Now Bohacic. Well, Little pump fake, and finally gets one of those threes to drop.
Extravagant pump fake, Jeff. That one was generated a real flyby.
Harris turns. The help defense came, and the foul called on Bohacic.
Just doesn't have to reach for it. And like, you know, Wainwright forced him to go the right way. The help came early, which is what it's supposed to. There's get a replay of the Jacob Wiley in full flow. Just didn't have to reach on that.
Brasino tries, well, he does throw it over the defense, but he also throws it over the offense and goes out of bounds. Well, you know, don't like to harp on this, but again, the prize money that goes along with throughout the regular season, the playoffs. So there's about 60 grand worth of difference if you win this game for the third place team. So here's a rattling it in is Bonzi Colson. I guess the players probably aren't thinking about that, are they? They're probably just thinking about winning.
No. There's someone somewhere thinking about it, though.
Yeah,
they're probably got
we got to pay for the lights next week.
Yep.
There's Ish Wainwright, rebounds it. Interesting to see if Ish Wainwright plays at the Afrobasket with Uganda. Here's a block. Foul called on Zaragoza and San Miguel this time, who's taken his share of charges. Also was hit with a flopping the other night. And again, Bonzi Colson looking a lot better offensively tonight.
Yeah.
Well, they get it in low, and this time Ish Wainwright puts it up. It looked like he was up before Helenissen knew what was going on, or Helenissen didn't see him catch the ball.
Yeah.
He was blocked.
He's waking up right now. Great sign for Strasbourg.
Difference. Harris passes up the three attempt. Now it gets down low. Oh, boy. There was no rim protection whatsoever. That's where he's deceptive. I mean, there aren't too many people that stop Elias Harris once he gets it on that low block. Ennis guarding, and they get Moran to take what turned out to be a difficult shot. Moran hustled back, but look at Ennis. Saw he hustled back and then missed it. Mai. And Colson better hurry up. And it looks like is Mazzoni looking for some help to make the call possession-wise. Bonzi Colson looks a little bit perturbed, but I think he didn't go after the ball as hard as he needed to at the beginning. And that's why the ball's going over to Zaragoza.
Yep.
Or maybe no, Colson was saying that he was pushed off by Brasino. That's what he was upset about.
I didn't see the push, Jeff. I didn't see a push. I think your analysis of it, initially as the play broke down, Brasino was just quicker reacting and really went after it. Colson was then trying to make up for the situation, and then in that effort finds himself over the scorer's table and on the bike. So, yeah. That's just in case they don't win and they get sent home. He'll be biking it.
There you go.
Wow. I mean, it's yep. Sums up the difference for me, though, Jeff. Zaragoza have just been that little bit quicker on every department so far throughout the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
San Miguel. He's hit some threes in this final 8. But he hasn't struck from long range today. Mai is fouled by San Miguel. So twice San Miguel has stepped in front of the dribbler and has been called for blocking fouls.
I'm interested in this one. I think San Miguel has a
legitimate gripe.
I understand why he's got a gripe, but I'm not. If the referee saw it, oh well, obviously the referee saw it. That there was some lateral movement at the time, so it becomes a block. But all the contact was on the torso. But I'm not for 1 second disagreeing with the official. I'm just saying I can understand how San Miguel will feel a little aggrieved at the call, even though the referee didn't see it the way he did.
You're saying it was close.
It was definitely
It could have gone
close.
either way.
Well, no, because the referee called it one way, Jeff. Go on. I wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been. You could easily explain why the referee might have called it the other way. We had this problem in one of the opening games where there was the clocks were not synced or something. Do you remember? Right, the opening game we had this delay of the first game.
That's right.
I think that
By
they
the
keep
way,
pointing. They keep pointing at both ends.
You know, Strasbourg have lost 16 of their last 18 basketball Champions League games in which they were trailing by 11 or more points. So, biggest lead
Things
of
aren't
the
good.
game was 13 today for this Casademont Zaragoza team. Bohacek from behind the arc. And Suleiman with the rebound. One other thing worth pointing out, Elias Harris now with 400 or more points in the Basketball Champions League. 400 plus points, excuse me. He's got 401. And you will not be surprised to know that Dylan Ennis also now has 400 points in the Basketball Champions League. And Mark, more to your point, Zaragoza, they're almost unbeatable when they get to 40 points in the first half. They've won 17 of their 19 games in this competition when they've had 40 or more in the first half. So it's an uphill struggle right now for Strasbourg.
Everything's against them right now.
Oh, look at Lennison going up. Couldn't quite get hold of it. I mean, that being said, Mark, it's only an 8-point game. Here's Lansdowne. You know, if Lansdowne makes that, it's a 5-point game. Strasbourg just can't get it going on both ends of the court. Harris delivers it to the Icelandic slam man.
The score 56-46. 56-46.
I mean, the other issue, Jeff, as you see the replay of the foul is, in terms of coming back in the game, Brandon Jefferson would have been one of those guys who can score in a hurry and can score on his own. You know, he doesn't need, at times he can create for himself. They don't have anyone really at the moment who can break it down and create for themselves. fouls that you want to be called unsportsmanlike. It's not to say if they're dangerous or whatever. No, it's one of those scenarios. For many, many years, coaches will say, hey, if you're beating on a closeout, just stop the foul. You know, take a foul because we're in a bad situation. Even if they don't score on that, they're going to score on the next one. And it stops the game in a non-basketball related way. And officials, that's all they should be asking. Was it a basketball action? Obviously it wasn't, therefore it's unsportsmanlike. It's very straightforward. It's when referees start to say, oh, what effect did it have? No, if it's a non-basketball action, call it unsportsmanlike, shoot the throws, let's get on with the game. I think it's that and the review system, just great work again by the officials.
Now Mazzoni is also having a conversation with the commissioner. Anyway, trying to clarify something. But, you know, we've talked about how just all signs are pointing to the Zaragoza win when you look back at all their past history. But the fact remains, there's a lot to play here for Strasbourg, and they're only down by 10. And now, if all things went well for them here, they could have a 5-point trip down the floor. They could cut half of this. They could cut this deficit into half.
And that, again, Jeff, that's why I think that's the unsportsmanlike foul again. It takes away the risk, the benefit of fouling in that situation from the defensive team, which is what that unsportsmanlike foul interpretation is supposed to do. And now Strasbourg, as you say, could cut it to 5, and they're right back in it. And they have some urgency now.
There you go, Bahacic, and that's exactly what it is. Suddenly.
Super flare, super screen, super execution. They ran that as sharp as they've run anything for the whole game. They might start feeling this one right now.
So the question is, did they give him a 3 for that or a 2? There's Eniso answering from the left corner.
And why wouldn't he go back to Dylan Ennis? Great execution again. I talked about energy, it just disappeared in front of your eyes. There was no energy then defensively.
So the Bahacic shot was actually a 2, apparently, although they could review that. But Dylan Ennis's shot was definitely a 3. Anyway, this can get it back. So, yeah, so that's right. So that was a huge shot by Dylan Ennis. I mean, you know, you just get the whiff of the comeback. If you're Strasbourg with 4 points, it turned out to be, not 5. And anyway, Bahacic's 2 free throws make it a 7-point game, and it looks like all of a sudden Strasbourg are alive, and a little bit unlucky there. They almost forced another turnover.
Yeah, good trap. You know, went hard as they turned. The trap was there. Wainwright was quick, got there.
Messino dribbles past, and they get it to Helenissen, and once again, Trigby goes up for the slam.
Another example of that Brusino IQ. Didn't have to do anything great, just got the defense looking at him, just put it up there.
Here's Lansdowne. Good! Well, Lansdowne has shown up at the party, folks. It's now a 6-point deficit. 10 points now for DeAndre Lansdowne. Chickenwood guarding Suleiman. And Suleiman passes back outside. Now Ennis dribbles between his legs, almost lost it. Oh boy, they have called a foul. Boy, there was no need.
Wow.
Let's see what happens.
They had him everywhere. They really had him. Who's the guilty party? Oh, it's Wainwright.
Oh no, it's Wainwright. So if it is on Wainwright, but they've called it on Chickenbook?
Substitution for
Well, they got it wrong before on Wainwright, and now they've gotten it wrong again. It looks like it should be on him again.
But like, whoever it was, it's one of those, be happy with what you've got. You've got him on the sideline, nowhere to go with like a second on the possession. Why do you want to try and steal it?
Brasino put it up thinking there was going to be a foul. Barreto, meanwhile, who's come back into the game, is walking a little gingerly.
6 seconds to go on the shot clock.
And now Brasino talking to the refs. So Wainwright goes out. And
that's another one
down with 3 seconds on the shot clock. Has committed a foul. And that's what will give the, what would you call that, the dirty blonde hair, make it turn a little gray for Lassi Tuovi.
Yeah, those young looks that he still has as a young head coach, they're not going to last long if his team keep committing fouls with 1 second and 3 seconds on shot clocks. And he's obviously been working as hard as he can as they get the soft roll on the throw to try and get them to play the defense. He's got them to play it, and now they just lose that little bit of control and discipline.
Barreto makes the first, misses the second, but Lennison goes up and knocks it off the rim. And in one trip down the floor for Strasbourg, they have really imploded. Chickenboot's got the quick hands. Ennis steps back. Oh, man, that is just not fair. Are you kidding me? Look at Wiley, he can't believe it. That is a confident man. 20 points. We were talking about could he get to 26 in this game? I think the answer is yes. And a foul called Lennison, I think, and he might have injured his hand. Twice, Mark, Ennis has come out and just thrown in what might be described as third quarter daggers. This is one of them right here. Look at that.
Jeff, and then you go back to the point of the ball shouldn't even be at this end of the floor. Yeah, they had him deep in the clock. They fouled again. Shouldn't have got to that moment of greatness. And then they've just got to do it all again. They're 10 down again. They could have been 5, 6, 4, whatever it would have been. Just a bit of discipline, they'd have been right back in.
Barreto showing his size there, going up and getting the rebound. Oh, what a pass from Lennison. That's a well-coached team right there.
Absolutely.
He knew exactly to look for the other man. Somebody's got to be open. It's a 12-point game. Well, they have just grabbed this game by the scruff of the neck here at the end of the third quarter, led by that man right there, Dylan Ennis. After Bohacic cut it to 6, he went down and hit a corner 3, and then we just saw him hit another 3. And Casademont Zaragoza lead at 67-55 at the end of 3.
Yeah, the numbers for Zaragoza are 2-point race, 61%. Doing a great job moving the ball, sharing the ball. Tremendous job by them. I'll tell you something though, Jeff. I think this third quarter best plays is just going to literally sum up why Zaragoza have the 12-point lead. Initially, it's too easy because Harris just literally went past whoever was supposed to be guarding him and ends up with a really impressive finish. You know, they had chances, they hung around, but then, you know, all of a sudden, in his rebounds, gives it to Wiley. It's all the effort plays have been by Zaragoza. And Coach Tuovi at some point got a reaction out of his team because they picked it up, got it back to 6, then got it back to 8, and they had him at 1 second on the shot clock. And then that's just gone the wrong way as well. And how fitting was it really at the end of the third? The last stat of the third quarter was just an effort play by Ennis. The way he gets the defensive rebound, ends the third quarter with the ball in his hands. And as much as everybody else has contributed, Ennis has just led this Zaragoza team in so many ways.
Well, he's got 20 points and 6 assists right now, and it's only the second game, in fact, in which he's had 20-plus points and 5 or more assists in a basketball Champions League game. He also had 22 and 7 assists against Nizhny Novgorod back on January 5th. So, you know, he started off the game with those. He had 4 assists before he scored a single point today.
Yep.
And while we're talking about Dylan Ennis, also the first basketball Champions League game in which he's had 15 or more points, 5 or more rebounds, and 5 or more assists. So he's, it's like you said, he's racking them up in different ways.
Oh, yeah.
And to pour even more doubt on SIG Strasbourg's chances here, they've won just 3 of their last 22 games in which they've been trailing at the end of the third quarter. So they're not a good come from behind team in that fourth quarter.
They've just got to chunk this fourth quarter. They, you know, halfway through it, it needs to be single digits. That shouldn't be hard if they're going to go at it, because that's only it's a 12-point game at the moment. So they can get it to single digits. They just have to win the first 5 minutes, and then they're in it. But and that gives them a chance. And they start with 24 violations. So great job by them. Now they've got to build and score, stops and scores. If they're in single digits with 5 minutes to go, they have an opportunity. Give themselves an opportunity, and who knows, if you work hard enough and get the right decisions, you've got a chance. If it's still double digits halfway through the fourth, it's going to be a big, big ask. And Coach Casemiro brings in the guy that's going to steady it all down. He'll get Innis out for a minute or so and get him back. And so San Miguel's going to try and make the next 2 or 3 minutes go as last as long as possible. So Innis gets as long as he can on the bench without the game really changing too much.
Oh, good D on Colson as he missed the turnaround jump shot. And Chikumbo is called for a foul here, and they stopped the game to check on him. I think Mai is going to come in for him.
Casemiro has a lot of guys in the game now that will run the system, will set screens, will move the basketball, and he's already starting to try and manage this game. And he's still got Suleiman, but if he needs something at the end of the shot clock, he can create.
Well, here's Suleiman, missing from 3-point range. And Benzing comes out and fouls Bonzi Colson.
His third, team first.
Ish Wainwright open, so why not? And he hits a 3-pointer, back to single digits. Maybe Ish has saved the best for last. Here he is coming up with a steal, then quickly gets it to Mai. And they get it to Bahacik for 3. And great rebound. Well, good position, but they called a foul on Zaragoza. That's good attack. I think they made the right decision on that break, especially with the open 3-pointer here.
Yeah.
So Colson gave it over to Bahacik, who's had kind of a hot hand. And even though he missed, he's got 16 points. Even though he missed, They've drawn a foul from Casademont Zaragoza, going for the rebound.
Yeah, but Bouncy Coulson almost charged on the play.
That's what they were looking for, wasn't it? Zaragoza,
yeah.
They were calling for a charge.
I'm not really sure why it wasn't called. I don't think Suleiman flopped. He was definitely there a long time before the contact.
Is that criticism of the referees, Mark?
There's almost, but there's a technical foul. So I think Dylan Ennis is now gone on top of playing so well. He's now gone to peacemaker role. He was the person who dealt with whoever on the floor said whatever they needed to say. Suleiman got the foul because I think he thinks he had position, and you could never. Well, it's very difficult to justify a technical foul, but you can understand why he is aggrieved at the moment.
Well, take heed, Rashid. The technical has been called, and every point counts.
It's another opportunity, Jeff, isn't it? Like another opportunity. Make the throw, got the possession. See what you can get. What he's got to do now, though, is calm down. The call's been made.
Yeah.
He can't be like, he can't generate any more issues with the officials.
He doesn't want to talk to anybody right now.
I think.
Oh, wow. He's been ejected. He's picked up another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's picked up 2 technical fouls. Or wait a minute, was that his 5th?
What?
The technical was his 5th.
Yeah.
So the free throw is good, Bahacic.
Well, yeah.
No, it wasn't. So
no, it wasn't his 5th.
Technicals.
Or did he just get ejected for what he said? It's definitely not. He's definitely not got the 5. I'm
not sure why he's been ejected.
It's always difficult. He may have been ejected because of what he said.
Did he commit an unsportsmanlike earlier? I can't remember. Because if he commits an unsportsmanlike and then a technical, he's ejected, isn't he? Oh, nice drive, Moran, and all of a sudden, it's a game,
now.
Mark.
Oh.
6 points is the difference.
Yeah, this is a hold. You can't literally stop him by holding him going to set the screen, even if you are the league MVP. There's that giveaway, Jeff. You know, like palms of the hand on the player is an easy one for officials. There we go.
And now triggers a break, and Moran somehow, boy, did a good job of controlling that.
Did he not juggle the ball and still move? And that's what Robin Benzing is saying. Get a good look at it right now.
Well, he never had control of it.
1, 2, 3, 4. I can see why Robin Benzing is talking about it, but that's an 8-0 start, Jeff, to the start of the 4th. I was underestimating Strasbourg, and I said they needed to get the single digits inside the first 5. They're right back in it right now, only 4 down. Suleiman's been ejected. All of a sudden, the tide has turned. You've got to love this game, Jeff. Momentum is such a marvelous thing, and all the momentum now with Strasbourg.
Well, this thing really felt like it was almost over. And all of a sudden, we've got a game. Okay, so yeah, so it was the fact that he had an unsportsmanlike before. That's why. He had the unsportsmanlike, and then because he picked up the technical. So that's what, I just couldn't remember what the unsportsmanlike was for. I was looking back through my notes, my copious notes, Mark, that I've been taking. I couldn't find it. Should have underlined it. But that's a big shift. It's a 4-point game, and an opportunity that did not seem remotely possible, really, for SIG Strasbourg is suddenly there. Here it is, Barreto from the right corner. Bad ankle or no bad ankle, he still hits a 3. and he is playing well. It's a good thing he didn't leave the contest for good. 7 points, and now Yanis Moran needs some help up off the court, and Barreto goes shows some good sportsmanship.
Number 25, Yanis Moran is leading the court.
It is again, though, Jeff. It's like
That didn't look good.
I'm going to make
right
the
knee.
No. Let's have a look. We get a better view from this side, unfortunately.
Watch his right knee.
Foot skates. Hey, he's walked back, Jeff. So you got to hope that that's just a slip that stretched him, and you don't like to see that with the big guys in particular.
But mark that point down. That was Barreto hitting a big-time 3 from the right corner when Strasbourg had pulled to within 4 points and had all the momentum.
Ines gets the assist there, Jeff, as well.
What a surprise. Bonzi Colson, he did the right thing. He was looking, am I the best? Am I going to find the right man? No, I'm going to take it. I'm here, and I'm the MVP. I'm Bonzi Colson. He cuts it to within 5. Ish Wainwright picks up foul number 4. Now he's been teed up. Man, what did he say?
Don't need it, Jeff. Just don't need it, do you?
He just got ejected from the game. Watch this. So he reaches in.
Same thing, Jeff. Palms of the hand. Easy call for the official. Bit of a push.
Yeah, and let's don't forget that he got away with a foul earlier. And now he realizes what he's done. He realizes part of the game is maintaining control of your emotions. And we've said so many good things about Ish Wainwright, how great he's been in this fine lay, but he blew it there, and he knows it.
And the worst thing, on top of everything else, they're only 5 down. If there's a team with momentum, it's them. And all that's happened is there's been a foul call. That's all that happened. There's no excuse for that one, Jeff, at all, especially in the situation.
Now one of the best players in the Basketball Champions League has had to leave the game.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
Absolutely. And he's one of their leading chances and their leading players, leading chance to get back in the game. One of their best players. They need him desperately. They don't need him on the bench.
He knows it. He knows it.
Yeah.
Here's Bohacic.
And again, Jeff, one of those issues, again, really highlighted there. Strasbourg don't have the players to put it on the floor and break the defense down. Bohacic had to settle for the jump shot then when he knows he should have been a bit more aggressive. And they're now 6 down. And Strasbourg again trying to get back in this with this trapping defense. Still a long, long way to go as well. Still 5.5 minutes.
It is 6 minutes. It's kind of, the game has entered kind of a strange period here. I mean, I wouldn't say that Zaragoza, well, Barreto, though, you got to tip your hat to him. I mean, just when it starts to get a bit weird, he comes out and hits a couple of big 3-pointers. The man that had to be helped off the court earlier with the sprained ankle.
Timeout, Strasbourg.
And again, it tells you everything about him because he had the ankle. He's come back in strong. And Ines, they've guarded him. So like Pereira, he's open. I'm going to find him. He's got back-to-back threes. Ines has got back-to-back assists.
Did you see Enes's reaction on that?
Yeah.
How bad does he want it?
Absolutely. Look, here you go. Jeff, I think if they were just playing pickup somewhere, Ines wants it badly. He's that type of guy that he's a baller. He wants to play and he wants to win. Let's take a listen to Obi.
So Enes is plus 25 efficiency. That is by far the highest mark in the game. The player that's next closest to him is, well, Mr. Barreto. The 16.6 rebounds. He's at plus 19. But anytime you get to plus 20, well, get to 18 or 19, you've had a great game. He's at plus 25, and there's still time to go. So Suleiman's loss of composure ultimately may not hurt this Zaragoza team, who's gone back in front by 9. 5.5 minutes remaining. And what a great finish that is by DeAndre Lansdowne. So he's got a chance for a three-point play.
Love the way he took it and went. You know, caught it on the catch and played off the catch. And again, he got higher than the defense so he can get to the middle. Super move, super finish. Great reaction to the going 9 down. Got a chance to cut it back to 6. They're right in it. They just need to stay with what works and just milk that. And this little trap, Jeff, is slowing up Zaragoza and sending it over again.
Colson on the break. Good! Goodness me, what's going to happen the rest of the way? It's a 4-point game. How many times are we going to say that Zaragoza have reclaimed the initiative only for Strasbourg to come back? And Colson, you know, that's the Colson spot. That in the Colson corner. Colson on the wing. He's got 18 points, the MVP for the season. And now it's back to Dylan Ennis. Will it be Ennis? Will it be Barreto? They got the young Garcia in the left corner. They got Benzing, who's been quiet. There's Barreto. They run at him this time to get him off the three-point line. And now a chance to run. Udino gets it over to Lansdowne. And Lansdowne making a big difference here. Oh, front and back of the rim and stays out. That would have been massive. Jacob Wiley also back in the game for Zaragoza. Look at them, they are alive and kicking. And also Brasino is going to come back into the game.
That's a great move by Coach Casemiro, though, to get Brasino back in the game. Another good decision maker against that trap. And this trap has been really effective. They are 1-2, 1-1 type trap. The other thing that that now they've got Zaragoza thinking about how to beat the trap as opposed to just playing. Yeah, this 4:22 to gate. Either way, this is going either way now. They're right back in it.
Well, Cavalier comes up, and there was definitely contact with Cavalier, but then they call a reach on Mai. They're over the limit, so San Miguel is going to the free throw line.
And Jeff, where have they got the steals from? They haven't got the steals in the trap. They've got the steals with the pass coming out of the trap. You can't. The chances of you reaching into there and stealing it, you've got to put pressure on it to make the pass difficult. And that's what they did on the possession before, and they threw it cross court. Just got to be disciplined as well as with this intensity.
The catch a break as San Miguel misses the first free throw, but he does get the second one to go. It's a 5-point lead. Zaragoza trying to hang on here. Again, the young Javier Garcia in the game, guarding Lansdowne. Tough assignment for him, you would think. Udino powers his way down low, and Brasino seems like he can guard anybody on the court. Certainly affected that shot. Now Brasino, oh goodness, or no, somebody threw behind the back pass.
Oh,
I thought it was Brasino, but it must have been Garcia. Okay, San Miguel.
San Miguel in the trap. I don't know if he actually knew who he was throwing it to. He just saw a white shirt and just hoped it got there. Trap is being really effective.
Bonzi Colson into the corner. Lansdowne stepped out of bounds. It has to happen every game, and it hasn't happened until now.
Of all the things to do when you've got that momentum, Jeff, all the things to do, stepping out of bounds. That line hasn't moved. It's been there the whole game. Well, Zaragoza now have everybody back in the game. It's pretty much they're starting the lineup back in the game now.
Oh, nice pass. And Dylan Ennis flies in. Goes to 23 points. Colson, good! And it's back to a 2-possession game. Oh, no, that was a 2, not a 3. And the handoff, and Wiley dunks it. They seem to be handling the pressure a little bit better now since they brought their starters back into the game. Yanis Moran almost traveled. Mai with 2.5 minutes to go. Moran. Oh boy, that was a tough take, and I think probably Elias Harris can't quite believe he's fouled Mai. And Casemiro can't believe it either.
Exactly.
Watch this. Look at Mai.
Nice.
Nah,
and there's not a lot of contact. Yeah, there's not a lot of contact.
Looked like Mai got some contact by kind of throwing his left arm out there. This is what Casemiro
I'll tell you what Zaragoza have done very well, Jeff, in terms of beating the pressure. They've actually shortened up the pass. They've gone down a side, and they've cut between the seams between the guys trapping and the guys looking to steal it, as opposed to trying to pass it over the defense, which they did a couple of times. It generated turnovers, and you just need to take a breath almost, see the trap, and make the pass.
Well, you think Zaragoza would like to take a little bit of time off, but if the double comes and they start passing and finding the open man, they might get a layup. Here's San Miguel. Bounce pass. And Harris fouled by Yanis Moran. So free throws coming for Elias Harris.
Again, they've used 20 seconds of shot clock and 20 seconds in terms of possession. They're trying to make the
Yanis Moran.
Yeah. Probably evens out the one before, which is not how you should look at fouls. You look at them in isolation. If there's a foul, there's a foul. Call it.
Harris on the free throw line.
Harris bends the knees, puts it up and in. Back to a 7-point game. And he gets it to go. Here's Harris having another solid game. 8 points, the advantage, lands down. And excellent work by Colson with long arms, fully stretched out, and then a foul on Wiley, which I suppose they'll take because it stops the clock. SIG Strasbourg, they'll settle for that, take the 2. Although Colson probably likes his chances of hitting a 3-pointer.
His first, back onto the court, Dylan Ennis.
His last 2 to us, he must be thinking, we could have played a little bit better early on. We wouldn't be trailing by 8. It's going to be a hard deficit to overcome here late in the game.
Yeah. Zaragoza just running in this on offense now. He's out on defense, back in on offense. Casemiro's obviously decided that's the way they're going to do it.
Oh, Brasino passes up the layup, and they almost turned it over. It's a tad fortunate for Zaragoza there. Ennis, they're going to call a block. They're going to call the block on Bonzi Colson. So Dylan Ennis. Yeah, he did. He slid right into him, didn't he?
Yeah, Bonzi Colson saying that Jacob Wiley eased him over that way, as in pushed him to an extent, pushed him into the foul. He was going that way anyway, but they can't trade. They've got to find a way of getting some stop. Still enough time. Still only a 2-possession game ahead of the free throws, but it is a tough ask for Strasbourg now. But Jeff, how many times have if we thought this is Zaragoza's to control 4 or 5 times already in this fourth quarter, and then somehow Strasbourg have found a way to get it back to a manageable number.
Javier Justiz has not played at the Final 8. Another the Cuba internationals here at the Final 8 with Jaciel Rivero of Burgos. And the rebound. They only get 1 of 2 that time. They hit a 3 here. It's a 4-point game. Certainly looking for it. Bohacic steps in. Mai and Brasino swoops in for the rebound and gets up to Wiley. And San Miguel gets a layup, and he's fouled by Mai. And again, that's where Mai just has to let him have it, I guess.
Yep, and he doesn't have to it's an unsportsmanlike foul as well.
Wow. This is what you call a unsportsmanlike dagger foul.
He has 0 chance of actually blocking it. That he goes hard enough for it to become an unsportsmanlike foul. It's Rodrigo San Miguel. He's been in 4 Basketball Champions League final tournaments. He's not missing the layup. He's not going to go up weak. He's going to know the contact is coming.
We have a substitution for Casademont Zaragoza. Back onto the court, Javier Garcia, right after the free throws for Rodrigo San Miguel.
So San Miguel gets the first one to go.
And now San Miguel replaced by Javier Garcia. Casademont Zaragoza ball.
So they called it as a technical, Jeff, not as an unsportsmanlike. So either way, it's still not good.
No, it's not.
But it's just the 1 free throw. So.
Oh, the dump down low, and there goes Wiley. Colson misses. You know, Mark, we haven't really spoken enough about Dylan Ennis today, so I'm going to bring this up. His 8 assists are the most for him ever in a Basketball Champions League game. We're talking about a guy that does a lot of scoring, but he has been dishing it out. Look at that. His 8 assists are his most ever, so he's got 4 off a double-double.
I think that's his 9th, Jeff.
So that was his 9th? Okay.
I think so.
So
I think. Let me just check.
No, you're right. That was his 9th. So
he's 1 away from a double-double.
And then he would need 5 rebounds for the triple-double. Probably not going to happen. Just get the ball to Ennis and let him make a pass. You got to know the situation. Okay. He's chasing it around.
Casemiro's got to call it somehow. Ennis should get assist for that because he told him where to pass it. So.
Well, I think Mark, Strasbourg started a little bit too late playing with the type of the sense of urgency that they needed to have in this game. And Zaragoza, time and time again, you know, in that 3rd quarter, they answered the call with Dylan Ennis. Then Barrero came out and played terrific. And they brought in the starters back in the 4th or late in the 4th quarter, and they really just helped ice it. So this confirms a great Basketball Champions League campaign for a Casademont Zaragoza team that has had its share of adversity to overcome. Don't underestimate the scale of this achievement for them. They win it 89-77 to clinch 3rd place with a victory over SIG Strasbourg. Mark, we're going to see some stats here. I mean, is there anything that's going to stand out for you?
The thing that'll stand out for me will be on the 3rd page when we go into like leaders, and Ennis is all over the leaders, obviously. Yeah, it's the Zaragoza were just slightly better than Strasbourg in every single stat line. More rebounds, more assists. You know, and Ennis has 24 points, 9 boards, 9 assists rather. He gets a lot of support. Barrero, we mentioned earlier in the week, Jeff, Barrero has had a great season. but he was a bit quiet. And we're going to see on these best plays, Barrero's, if we see both of them anyway, Barrero's 2 threes at crucial points in the second half when Strasbourg almost had a sniff of a comeback, and the young guy steps up and knocks it down. And okay, assist from Innes, admittedly. And I think it's, at the end of the day, depth from this Zaragoza team was probably the decisive factor, apart from the lack of intensity, should we say, from Strasbourg early in the game. Once they got that intensity going, they were right in the game. But Zaragoza just probably had one too many players in every spot. Everything was just, Zaragoza had the slight step on this Strasbourg team. The Strasbourg, Jeff, shouldn't be, they'll sit back in a couple of days perhaps and say, hey, 4th in the Basketball Champions League, we're moving forward in the right direction. Tuobi's done a really super job as a coach, and his players have really responded to him, and Strasbourg are absolutely moving in the right direction. And you've got to say, watch out for him in the French Championship, the French playoffs, because they're going to be one of the teams that has a real shot at winning the French Championship.
And also give an assist to the trainer of Zaragoza for getting Barrero back out there, because don't forget he left the game with, what, 3 minutes to go to the changing room after stepping on Wiley's foot, and looked like he might not make it back, but he came back and even walking gingerly running gingerly was able to hit those big shots. 16 points. And
the other thing,
we're going to have the third place ceremony as well, Mark. So the medal ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, the award ceremony of the 2021 Basketball Champions League third place game will start shortly.
Jeff, while we're waiting for that to start, Jacob Wiley, I've got to make the point, didn't miss a field goal, brought his intensity again. His stock has risen yet higher in this competition. Him and Innes have just looked great. They've just been tremendous for this Zaragoza lineup.
So Strasbourg are also going to be presented with some mementos, and that will be by Mr. Alain Barral, from the president of the French National League of Basketball, and also Patrick Comninos, the chief executive officer, the CEO of the Basketball Champions League, somebody that works exceptionally hard for the Basketball Champions League 365 days a year.
Basketball Champions League third place game. First, to present the awards to the referees, please welcome Alina Gorshunova, Vice Minister of Sport of Nizhny Novgorod region.
So Alina Gorshunova, again, the Vice Minister of Sport of Nizhny Novgorod, will honor the referees.
And Martins Kozlovskis.
All in all, these guys did a good game, had a good game today. We enjoyed listening to them.
Jeff, just top-level guys, right? They're at the top of their game, and they look like they're at the top of their game. They did a tremendous job. Not just today, these officials have done a great job across the whole Final Eight and across the whole season. Let's be fair to every official we've had.
Please welcome Mr. Alain Barral, President of the French National League of Basketball.
There he is, Alain Barral.
Mr. Patrick Comninos, Chief Executive Officer of the Basketball Champions League.
And Patrick Comninos, that I was talking about.
Ladies and gentlemen, finishing at fourth place of the 2021 Basketball Champions League,
President of the French National League, and Comninos, the CEO of the Basketball Champions League, on the right there. Hard to believe we're already at this point of the season. It seems like just yesterday that we just started covering the Basketball Champions League, you know, and there were a lot of admittedly, questions around the sports world about what was going on. You know, how can we do this with the pandemic? You know, this was before vaccines had come out. You know, if you look back, it's been, again, a great accomplishment to these players and the clubs and club officials, Basketball Champions League organizers. Don't forget also Strasbourg today played without Brandon Jefferson. That was a big absentee for them, their point guard. I see Twovey. They're not going to leave happy, and that's probably a good sign. They wanted more, and they probably feel like they should have at least been a little bit sharper today, even without Brandon Jefferson.
Yes, Jeff. I mean, that's the thing. I think big loss, Jefferson. But as they showed deep in the fourth quarter, they had enough. They just didn't have enough for long enough. And, you know, but hey, Jeff, progress for Strasbourg. Never been in this situation before. Great chance in the French playoffs. So let's expect to see them again next year.
Yeah, I think you need to stress the positives here. So Miss Natalia Galkina, the General Secretary of the Russian Basketball Federation, and also Joan Roca, the Competition Director of the Spanish National League, are going to be presenting the medals for Casademont Zaragoza. A club that has well and truly put itself on the map in the Basketball Champions League the last couple of seasons. 4th place last year, 3rd place this year. You know, will they make it back next year? We don't know yet because they're not in the top 8. But they could end up making it into qualifying. Here they are getting their medals.
Their 2nd season in the Basketball Champions League, 2nd Final 8 in a row, and after a 4th place last year, they finally get the 3rd in 2021.
So Dylan Ennis again is, and we talked about Barreiro and Justice. Great fine lights for them. I'm happy for Barreiro because again, there was that, it seemed not a reluctance, but just kind of not knowing if he really, you know, how he was supposed to assert himself in this final 8. Today, it was almost as if somebody said, Jonathan, just go out and play. Play your game, and you'll be fine. Yeah. And he did, and to be honest, I'm not sure they would have won this without him.
Jeff, that's a great point because he's been important to them throughout the season. And if you miss a part that you're used to having, you're going to struggle. And today he brought that A game. And he's still a young man. I mean, he's still only 23 years old. I mean, he's an asset for them and an asset for Spanish basketball. And, you know, he's got great body, shoots the 3 really well. And sometimes you have those moments, don't you, as a player, and it makes you feel good. And he was a major part of them being the Basketball Champions League 3rd place team in 2021.
So you see number 21 there, Rodrigo San Miguel. I think he's the first player now to finish 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the Basketball Champions League. He finished 1st and 2nd with Tenerife. And here he is getting that 3rd place. And you see Helenissen. Where does he go from here? You know, his thing is all about improvement. I guess he'll join Iceland's national team this summer.
With the gold medal game between the Turkish team of Pinar Karşıyaka and the Spanish team of Hereda.
And so now, Mark, again, we'll look at the best plays from the 2nd half. And SIG Strasbourg starting without Brandon Jefferson today because of the thigh injury. You know, just bullet points for today. You know, Dylan Ennis, another huge performance from him. Jaromir Mohacic came out, really had probably his best game of the final 8 today to give his team a chance at least to stay with it with 17 points. Bonzi Colson
needed more help,
probably had his best game.
Needed more than the Borhead check in the backcourt. But Coulson was going to come good at some point. From his perspective, he may think he's come good in a game too late for Strasbourg, but he looked like the MVP of the league today. But I mean, these highlights sort of sum it up in the sense that it was all a little too late, too little too late for Strasbourg.
Also should note that Jean-Baptiste Mai, while he didn't really pour in too many points, he did have 10 assists to go with his 3 points. So good experience for him. I thought Yanis Moran actually came out and fought pretty hard in that fourth quarter to kind of redeem himself. Maybe Cavalier wasn't quite as impactful today. I think you can see he was a little bit disappointed, as well as Ike Udino. Those would have been two guys that I would have expected to come out. And maybe a subpar performance as well from Ish Wainwright today, who had 7 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. You know, he's one of your main 2-3 guys. He needs to come out and really produce in a game like today. But for Zaragoza, all in all, just I thought the attitude was correct from the very beginning of the game. So that hunger that you saw in Dylan Ennis, I think it was really quite contagious for some of his guys. And Luis Casimiro has to be thrilled with this performance at the Final 8 from his team.
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. I think the most important thing that you said, their attitude from the beginning to the end of the game. They treated this like a big game that they wanted to win, and they put that out there. And every time that Strasbourg had a run, the ball ended up in the right guy's hands. You know, ended up with a wide open Barrera 3. Ended up with Ines making a decision. It ended up with Wiley on the break. They made really super decisions throughout. And the point about Strasbourg, as I say, too little, too late.
So the road to the final, well, guess what? We've had the third place game now, and now getting ready in less than an hour, about 45 minutes, tipping off will be Pinar Karšiaka and the defending champions, Herrera San Pablo Burgos. For Mark Clark, I'm Jeff Taylor, signing off for now. We'll be right back for the final. Thanks for watching, everybody.